How many of you work at the social casino industry? Oh, so almost half. So I would not get into the market overview and market trends, because that's usually how you can fill up the presentation. Usually the speaker can talk about hours on the different market trends and how the Playtika doing better than it was doing a quarter ago. All my market trends I'll show in one slide. It's actually a genius slide performed by Ellis and Krajcik research company. So, state of social casino market. As you can see, there are two graphs. One is daily active user trend, and the second one is ARPDAD trends, so average revenue per daily active user. As you can see, the daily active user trends is more or less stable. So we don't really see a new audience. So it used to be the word mngla. So it's stalled. So the market is flat. There is nothing really happening. But it's been forever. As you can see, the flat audience is since 2013. So there is really not much going on right now on the market. We're all fighting for the same people, and the daily revenues are growing up because the companies are fighting with each other, optimizing the processes, optimizing the monetization techniques. And the market is dominated by real money gaming companies with a real money gaming pedigree. As we can see, the Playtika, Aristocrat, Scientific Games, Double Down, they all have its roots in real money gaming. And when we talk about the real money gaming, we talk about the completely different world. What they bring to the table is they have pioneered the online marketing. So this is the companies who invented pop-ups, for Christ's sake. So fighting with them on their field is nearly impossible. So they have every player counts mentality. When we talk about the real money gaming, one paying user costs about 800 euros. So when you lose 1,000 paying users in a game, yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's tough luck. But in the real money casino, if you lose 1,000 paying users, you're going to end up in a forest. So, and this mentality goes through the customer support, it goes through marketing, it goes through the user management, because you need to know your customers by name, you need to track them by name, by their results, and be very, very cautious to them. Technical superiority. This is something what the games industry does not have by definition, because the online casinos is a huge financial systems. And the only thing they deal with care is financial transactions. And this is something, again, the games does not have, the games industry, because, okay, we have bugs, we know bugs, but we release a version anyway. In the real money gaming, you don't do that, because every bug, every issue you have is going to end up losing money, a lot of money. So in my experience, a little tiny small bug cost us 250,000 pounds in a day, because one guy discovered it, exploited it, and it was extremely painful. In money, in games business, you just block the account, you just ban the player, and that's it. No harm, no foul. In real money, it's a completely different story. And those companies also have years of content development. So when we talk about the social gaming, the majority is slots. The slots takes about 80% of the market. And the video slots been around for 40 years. So the companies like Aristocrat, like IGT, which is behind Double Down Casino, Scientific Gaming, they've been developing those slots for many, many, many years. And if they need to release a new app, they just reach into their backlog and they just take like 50 slots, 60 slots, 100 slots and make an app. But as a minus of being from the real money gaming, those companies are very cautious and very conservative. Because, as I already mentioned, every mistake costs you tens of thousands of dollars immediately. The audience they have, they care about them a lot, they don't want to make them nervous. So they don't tend to be aggressive in terms of innovations and new things to introducing to the audience. And that's where the people from the games market have an edge. This is the two companies I want to talk about which have, which appeared to be the newcomers to the industry, because since the very beginning, since 2013, the top 10 always been the same. It doesn't change. The companies change position from number 2 to number 3, but nothing really changes in general. And those two companies who came into the top 15 out of nowhere. So the first one is Murka. Murka been around for quite a long time, but they didn't really make a splash till recently with the game Scatter Slots. And the Scatter Slots introduce a very heavy metagame. And this metagame is based on quests, so the user has to complete quests in order to progress on a map. And this is addressed to the mid-core audience, and this is something what haven't been done before. Another number 8 in the top 10, which is a huge market share, is a Huge Games. The guys came up last year with a number of applications, but what they did, they completely rethink the social aspect of the game. They took clubs and just took it to the next level. And those kinds of innovations is the only thing right now what can get you to the top 15. Also, meanwhile, in another galaxy, in real money gaming, happening a very interesting things. All the brick and mortar casinos, the slot manufacturers, they're actually coming closer to games. They're introducing the skill-based mechanics. So this picture is taken on G2E last year. It's a bonus game, which is completely skill-based. You play the Space Invaders, and every target you hit gives you some coins. Another slide is a multiplayer Pac-Man game, where you bet on your result, you play, and if you're successful, you win some money. Another innovations to the brick-and-mortar casinos is esports betting. I would expect within the next couple of years to see the boxes with live Counter-Strike matches or Unreal Tournament matches, where you can actually bet on the result of the game events, and not necessarily just the result of the events, but the side bets as well. Will I be killed? Will I be hit? And so on and so forth. So the real casinos is actually getting closer to games. And it takes us to 2018. Right now, as I already mentioned, the market is flat. So there is no new audience. The real money looking at the games for the innovations. And here we come. I mean, who can do better at innovations than the companies who've been doing games for quite a long time? But right now, the level of getting into the social casino is quite high, the production level. Most of the apps have a standard feature list, like achievements, quests and tasks, collections, clubs and tournaments, and all the stuff. So we can name any app in the top 20 in it, and it will have basically the same stuff. So you have to do something more. You have to make another step to break into the top 20. Also, the M&A activity is the lowest since 2011. So the activity on the market is extremely low. We are not talking about acquisition of Big Fish by Aristocrat. It's not yet finalized. But in 2017, there were almost non-activity on the market, because everybody is looking for the next big thing, and there is none. So what I see what's going to happen in 2018 and further, so the shift towards a more social experience. This is a very recent picture. It's taken on ICE, the large gaming conference in London a couple of weeks ago. So what you see is a rainbow reaches by Scientific Games. They connected several machines together, and if someone is triggering the bonus game, everybody else can participate in it. But what they have to do is they have a timer, like 5 seconds, and within those 5 seconds they have to tap a button to participate in it. So it encourages the players to sit together, communicate together, and wait for the bonus game to happen on any of the machines. And this is quite a big shift because the slots is a single-player experience by definition. The majority of events in slots are losing. You make a bet, you lose. You make a bet, you lose. And you don't really want to share the losing with anybody else in the crowd. Just 5-7 years ago, it was manuals for ground casinos how to set up the slot machine parlors. So the slot machine would always be isolated. When you play a slot machine, there is no crowd behind you. It's not like at table games like craps, when everybody is making side bets and everybody cheering up. The slots are more single player. And right now we see a shift towards introducing the social elements to it. And the search for connecting players is continuous. And what I want to show to you now is pop slots, which is absolutely amazing way to connect players. So the whole app is built on a casino experience, like you're walking down the floor on a 3D avatar, then you sit on a specific machine and you play it and you see the other players. But they made another step forward into introducing the social element, and what they did, they made a bonus game which connects the multiplayer players. So I'll start the video. If you see right now, this is the bar, which has to be filled with the special symbols, but it's filled by multiple players simultaneously. And as soon as it's filled, the bonus round is started for everyone. So the screen change, and you see the road, you're running down the road with your characters. The goal is to reach the end. And you're cheering not only for yourself, but for the other players as well, because there is your personal hero multiplier, and there is a team multiplier, which is collected by everybody else running. So even if you fail and fall into some hole during this run, you still cheer for your team, because this team is collecting the bonuses, which gives you winnings. And this is something absolutely unique. It hasn't been done before, and the realization of it is amazing. So I understand that loving slots is some sort of psycho-anomaly. It's the normal people do not love slots. I love slots, and my experience during this bonus game, I found myself completely focusing on it and cheering for my friends, for people I just met during this round, just to see how they're doing. Will we get to the end? Will we get the maximum multiplier, and so on and so forth. And I would say that we would see more things like that in the years to come. So, speaking that the audience is flat, there is no new people, there are several ways to look for new revenues and new audience. One of the things is new markets. So the names like Dodiju, Sigbo, Mahjong, Pasa, Paplu, many of you know what it means. Okay, I don't know what majority of it means as well, because it's Asian games and Indian games. And India didn't consider to be a good market for mobile games just recently. Now it's over $1 billion a year and is growing roughly 25-30% a year. So within the next couple of years, it would be a very interesting market. But those markets have their specific games. They don't play Texas Hold'em. They don't play slots as Europeans and Americans know them. They play their specific games, like Sieg Bow, which is a domino-based game. And someone who will come up with an interesting concept of how to play around it, how to create a betting mechanic using as a base those classic games specific to Asia and India, it's going to be a huge success. It's going to be a huge win. And search for the new audience is not only territorial, it's also vertical, because the people who know how the slots should look like are dying out. It used to be a normal pastime, like to go to Vegas or to go to Atlantic City to play slots. And those people are in their 50s and 60s. Right now, how many of you played slots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not that many. So for the rest of you, the definition of slots should not be as it used to be. So it can be something new. It can be completely new mechanic built around the betting. And the whole fun of betting, the definition of betting, is that you take something of value and based on a game of chance, you have an opportunity to get something of a bigger value. And playing around that, there is no limitations. So, and this is a very good example. It's a company Jelly Button, which was acquired by Playtika. They released a few very interesting apps. So, as you see here, you see a roulette wheel. Every spin is 1 coin. You have a limited amount of spins per day, which are replenished, and based on those spins, you get something. Then this something is used to build your island on a variety of designs and buildings, and also it has a PvP element. And the fact that the Playtika, the #1 company on the social gaming space, acquired the company like Jelly Button before the Jelly Button achieved the huge financial success is a great indicator that the large companies are looking for some new concepts, new mechanics, something for the audience who does not tie to a classical slot concept. And as I see right now, it's a perfect timing to come up with something new. It's opportunity to take a fresh look at betting mechanics as a whole and introduce to the new audience something they haven't seen. And the people from the games industry have an edge because you've been through the death of Match 3 and you come up with the innovations. You've been through the death of hidden object games. You come up with innovations. And right now, this is exactly the moment where interesting innovations in a social casino can give you the edge to get into top 20 or even top 10. But before you do that, you really have to read the manual. I've faced a lot of questions about building slots or building any other betting games from the people who are not really learning about the experience. And before getting into this industry, you have to ask yourself, do you understand the core betting mechanics? What makes the people tick? Why females play slots more than males do? And why, for example, the Murka slots are more interesting to males than to females? Do you know what makes betting experience better? So can you extend the thrill of anticipation, of waiting for the result? And have you seen all the games with the betting elements? Because the market is huge and there is plenty of new games coming every day and every day. But again, I would repeat that right now the professionals from the games industry have probably is the best chance of winning in the social casino space than anybody else. So what I just wanted to do is give you some place for thoughts, and I really hope that there's going to be some questions, because I can talk about this thing for hours, but I really need some guidance. So if you can guide me somewhere, I would be really happy about that.